In a near and distant future, climate change is still a problem. However, its problems have short-term solutions. Heat domes are previously rare phenomena which are becoming increasingly common. They are caused when still dry summer conditions, usually when there is a lack of shade, heats a large area of ground which causes a large influx of warm air to attempt to be pushed upwards, but is pushed back down by the air pressure. The air that is pushed down is heated once more, which causes a feedback cycle. Heat domes are caused when still dry summer conditions heat the ground, which spreads into the air, which causes the hot air to rise upwards, but is pushed back down due to higher air due to the upper atmosphere having a higher air pressure, which pushes the hot air back downwards to get reheated by the ground. This is a feedback cycle that occasionally happens, but is getting increasingly more common. Some issues that are caused by heat waves include stagnant, polluted, low-quality air, droughts, dry soil, damaged crops, heat stroke, especially in children and the elderly, a damaged ecosystem, and decreased mental health from increased temperature. Reflective artificial cloud shade, or RACS for short, is a large collection of reflective balloons meant to be used in urban environments to increase the area's albedo, therefore reflecting sunlight back into the atmosphere. These balloons are small and are tied together using rope and are hung up to 25 to 250 feet up in the air. Some materials that might consist of these ranging some more expensive options include materials such as nylon, rayon. Some cheaper solutions involve materials such as paper, mylar, or rubber. However, these materials struggle with either cost effectiveness. However, these materials struggle with cost effectiveness, durability, or the chance of microplastics. Some more expensive options, especially used in long-term cases, include nylon, rayon, or some other cheap fabric that can be spanned over a large area. These balloons have many different options for lift. However, the most popular are either using gases which are lighter than air, or heating it, somewhat akin to a hot air balloon or paper lantern. For for lighter than air options, either hydrogen gas or helium gas are inflated into the balloons. This is a cheap and easy option, and it usually fits for short-term scenarios. However, there is the persistent problem with gas leakage and a difficulty to properly refill these balloons, thus making it an extremely temporary solution. A significantly more popular and long-term solution is either using a small heated wire or painting the balloon black in order to absorb more of the energy as heat, to absorb more of the light as heat. This heats up the air in the balloon and thus allows it to generate lift. Some issues with this, however, is that it significantly energy consumption is that it has some solutions that were thought of are either temperature sensitive paint, which becomes clear once the balloon reaches a certain temperature, solar panels being hung on the balloon, or a chemical heat source which is able to act independently during cloudy periods. The shape of these balloons consists usually of either the arrangement of these balloons consists either of triangles, which are moderately easy to arrange. However, which are moderately easy to be arranged. However, there's a significant difficulty in properly managing the shape of it. Hexagonal circles inspired by honeycombs create a create a shape that resembles a hexagon. However, the improper shape allows a significant amount of light to go through, which might be less effective than other particular options. Long rectangles, somewhat similar to solar balloons, are are incredibly cheap and effective option. However, they are more how, however are considered however can be described as mildly unsightly and significantly hard to attach. Rectangular shaped balloons, which can be shaped into other shapes, are a popular option for this. However, other options are used. This is part of a speculative world-building sci-fi series based in the latter half of the 20th century I'm currently working on. I hope you can offer feedback where necessary, and I hope you like and subscribe. Have a pleasant whenever, and have an organized day.